Hello everyone and welcome back to Hanwell. No, that's not the game's name. It's Asylum. We are in Hanwell Institute. So we entered the director's office for the Hanwell Institute, Dr. Hanwell himself. And we also learned that the basement has a chamber that they discover while excavating the tunnels, houses a being of unbridled horror. It can cause you to see nightmares, your fear manifestation or something, I don't know. A lot of bullshit. Lovecraftian bullshit to be exact. Okay, let's go to his table. There's a document I could read. Okay, let us... Nothing. They look like ordinary annotations. Okay. We prepared to delve deeper into the tunnel. Elias had few words with the security staff, playing the bad cop as usual and warning them about the patient often going missing. While I returned them to their cell afterward, as things went quiet, we grabbed a lantern each and scouted out the regions beyond the crevice. The smell was nearly unbearable as we traversed the tunnels. I could recognize the handiwork of our motley crew in the carving out the walls, but suddenly the shape, or rather the texture of the tunnel began to change. It was still man-made, dare I say, but yet different. Clearly the result of more crude tools, and rocks had developed a shiny, slippery surface, massaged by the history of who knows how many countless centuries, millennia. As we stepped forward, we noticed a curious pattern on the stone wall and also objects such as parts, effigies, and other fragments scattered around the ground which were covered by a layer of spongy moss. Somehow, a whole ecosystem had survived within these underground prehistoric walls. I pondered the deep secrets that could be concealed within the bowels of the towering cliffs. When I grabbed one of these items on the floor, my eyes were dazzled by the craftsmanship unlike anything I have seen in my life, not even in specialized publication or museums. It left us strangely alien with hints of human crafting, yet at the same time it was not quite human. When I showed a weird sculpture to Elias, he seemed more excited than I expected and urged me to move forward. We resolved to move these fascinating objects to the location where we could probably research them. We both agreed that the third floor of the hospital, currently in disuse, would be a suitable spot. Needless to say, there was a mutual agreement to keep this from the rest of the staff, and continued investigation of these newfound underground tunnels are far more important than the remodeling of the building. Elias warned me about the expenses and such, but I dismissed such mundane considerations. The words aren't enough to convey my excitement. My hands are shaking with adrenaline as I transcribe the account what we found at the end of the tunnel. It is beyond our comprehension, an ultimate glorious secret right here beneath us. Elias, impetuous as he is, notioned for us to go in, but I got a glimpse of his presence which was enough to paralyze my body and mind for what seemed like an eternity. Yet a fleeting moment must have passed as I grabbed Elias' arm and ordered him to stop. We cannot go in. Our rational mind wouldn't be able to stand it. The same patient for Group E as before are the key to making the progress. It is nothing short of a miracle that our financial woes prompted us to resort to using our own patient to conduct the work rather than professional construction crew. The patient have no idea what we found, and even if they spoke out, who would believe them? Tunnels, weird smells, strange artifacts, and ideas forming in my head. I'm sure Elias will agree. It turns out their fear are more useful than we thought. They have helped us come closer to the entity. I have no other word to describe him now. No rational mind can withstand his sight. After all, what do we know about reality? It's merely electric impulse traversing our neurons. But if an alien being operate beyond the limits of our comprehension, those impulses would fry our brain unless our minds aren't operating correctly to begin with. They are indeed able to visualize something we couldn't possibly process with our sane mind. The The fear they experience when they enter the chamber is evidently unbearable, according to their own testimonies. Even worse than long-standing fear from their own past, yet something sticks in their damaged brain. We are unable to recover that information unless we somehow reproduce the same emotion and condition as those patients had upon entering the chamber. So far, we've been able to recover one piece of knowledge from each one by stimulating them to experience their past fears using various methods. If we put everything together, then maybe. Unexpected turn of events. All patients present to the entity have developed an anomaly. Something physical has changed in them. As far as we can tell, they are developing brain tumors. Why this is happening, we can only guess, but the evidence is unquestionable. Is it that even their damaged minds cannot withstand the glorious side of the being underneath, or is there a deeper meaning behind the alteration in the psychogenius? We have no choice but to further investigate these tumors, yet we cannot do it alone. The extracted tissue must be subjected to standard procedure and thus thoroughly analyzed by our pathologists. For obvious reasons, the source and nature of the masses can't be disclosed. We can't just drop them on the table either, as a question would be asked. It's a blessing as it is that Strawberry is working properly and leave no scar, but we can't push our luck. Eisenberg is growing suspicious. We toyed around with the idea of firing her, but that might draw attention that we can't afford right now. Elias had a brilliant idea of stimulating tumor growth in the same rodent already assigned to the oncology. It's another fortunate coincidence that they are genetically similar enough to humans, so they will be studied and will get information we desperately need. Elias will take notes of the identification tag and watch the team closely. Establish that for a tumor to manifest, one must remain in his presence for a certain period of time. Still, I asked Elias to subject me to the brain biopsy after my fleeting glimpse of those unfathomable shapes during our first time in the tunnel, just to be sure I'm safe. Something isn't right. The patients, they are acting differently. It's difficult to pinpoint in what manner. They simply don't feel the same. Last night, H was found lost in the basement. We didn't take him there. Also, L is known to experience absent seizures. But today I observed him in the yard and he spent many hours just staring at the ground below him. They act as if, no, that can't be. Why would they? We must do something, and soon. Eisenberg is bound to notice. I have Elias recommend shock therapy. In the case of L, we risk an uproar, but there's no other option. My worst fear had been confirmed. There was a very possibly something wrong inside me. Yet if that was the case, was there any solution at my disposal? The first step was to confirm that rumors were real. The vision of Walter Manuel. Nobody cares. In the later year, Dr. Manuel's interest shifted towards holistic, perhaps even spiritual method of uncovering the secret of the mind. Yeah, pretty useless. Bunch of pencils. Seem like fine, expensive ink bottles. A random old book covered in dust. Okay, Ambrosia. It's Dr. Miller. I must hastily write this letter to you, as an unexpected turn of events have hampered the long-awaited resolution of our work. The book you recommended did indeed provide the means to understanding those primordial arrangements. Oh no, Miller is involved. We unlocked it. What extraordinary documents so precise. Miller knows about the tunnels. What seemed to be inside, I can't elaborate further, and couldn't even if I tried my best. But I'm penning extensive note for the posterity. We must act quickly. There is a plan in the motion, so to speak. It's far from the scholarly treatment this immeasurably overdue encounter deserves, but circumstances are acting against us. We need visual information that few humans are able to provide. However, as you rightfully said yourself, Providence is on our side. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. So what do I have to do right now? Retrieve the item and then investigate the tumors. Brain tumors patients fear. Okay, how do I go about doing any of this? Alright, whatever that rumor was. Rumor? No. I mean the vision. Okay. What? Open the cage. What did I do? Oh. TPT048. Rat, some kind of label on it. The idea of having a strange tumor inside me with ineffable consequences gave me chills. If that was the case, would it be possible to remove it? I was determined to learn more about a tumor which was consuming my mind, whether there is a cure for it or not. Every patient had a specific trauma or illness that a doctor took advantage of. They assumed that triggering these fears would also trigger the memory of puzzling being below. Every patient had... Okay, sure. Or I'm in the museum. Ah, look at that. TP048. A typical glass type of putting tissue samples on it could come in handy. Picked up the tweezer with care. Okay, then do something. Bare hands. Okay. I left the tweezer in the exhibit, okay. Is she giving birth? Oh no. Oh no. All right. There it is. Okay. What the hell are we gonna find here? What my guy is gonna do? What happened? It is a blessing as it is that the stirrup is working properly and leaves no scar, but we can't push our luck. The stirrup, eh? That word is capitalized. I think that's important. I think that's the machine in the operating room. An old unpublished manual about some kind of biopsy machine. Alright. The stereotactic transorbital brain opsy equipment. Draft instruction. Warning. This equipment is still undergoing extensive tests. Any use of this machine on a living person might be supervised by unqualified personnel. The Strabre is a novel device capable of extracting brain tissue sample without performing catatomy. It makes use of empty space around the patient orbital to reach areas of brain without damaging the eye, causing long-term facial paralysis. Depending on the cardinal structure of the patient, the coordinates of the transorbital device may need to be reconfigured in order to determine the correct angle of the procedure. Oh shit, that's like, that reminds me of what was the name, Dead Space. I think it was 3, the eye thing. Okay, am I done? Didn't they say like behind the something? I think I have already cleaned the syringe. Now holding somewhat sticky fluid with red tinge. I was repulsed to realize it had come from inside my head. Let's see what's the difference here. Is this a similar thing? Okay, I couldn't believe it. I had confirmed what I feared the most. Nested deep inside my brain was an unexplained tumor, the source of my vision and possibly the end of my insanity. Sanity. Alright. Now what do I do? Oh, holy shit! She took out the fetus! Which direction to go, I wonder. Well, look at that. And go to the 3rd floor, which houses the greenhouse. The theater must have been charming in the old days. Oh, hey there, Lenny.
Lenny, what are you doing here?
I'm watching the show.
Show? What? Oh.
Why don't you sit with me and we can watch it together? It's very entertaining.
Lenny, please, you must listen to me. I have the tumor. I think you have it too, and Bertrand. We all do. Everyone in Group E.
I don't want to talk about that now.
But Lenny...
Maybe it's good if we don't remember. If I was in pain, I wouldn't want to remember. I'd prefer to be happy, like I am now.
My visions are getting worse. You will have them too.
Why are you doing this?
Because I need to know, Leonard. I can't afford to lose my mind again. I want to remain in control.
Oh, this next part is fun.
Okay.
Do you remember anything about the sewers down in the
God
basement?
damn it, I misclicked.
Me? No.
I believe there's something important down there. Is there anything you can tell me about the sewage system in the...
It's complicated. I remember seeing sometimes...
Yeah, sure.
Lenny, I saw a film. Horrible film. They locked someone in the basement.
I don't want to hear about that.
Just listen. In the film, there was an item that fell through a grate, and it seemed to be something of huge importance to the doctors. You know, the doctors that did this to us, Lenny. It happened in the boiler room.
Yes, the fire.
What's below the boiler room?
The sewers.
Alright, task. Okay, topics.
Lenny, do you remember seeing a red symbol? Like a circle with...
No! Stay away!
What?
Don't go there! That symbol means bad things. The pain.
All right, Lenny. No.
Alright.
Those maniacs tortured us in the worst imaginable way, Lenny. Leveraging our deepest fears for their own gain.
Yes. It was different for each one of us. We were scared when the burly man appeared with new burn marks. We rejected him, but then it started happening to the rest of us.
Lenny, what did they do to you?
Since I was young, my body has been weak. I move slowly because I'm afraid to break something.
Oh no. Did they?
Yes. They broke me. That's the pain.
What the
Okay.
hell is wrong?
What is your worst fear?
My worst fear? My fear. I'm terrified of losing control, Lenny. I must know that I'm in control of my own actions. I don't want to lose my mind. Lenny.
I can't. It's too late for me.
Okay, Lenny.
Did you hear anything else about it?
Okay.
Did you ever meet the former director of the Institute, Walter Hanwell?
I'm not sure. I saw many people walking around in the Institute in the past, but no one ever told me who Hanwell was.
Okay, I think it's useless talking to him, honestly.
Nice talking to you, Lenny.
Can I sit beside him and watch the show? Okay. Okay, cool. Ceiling had collapsed. Alright, gotta find the greenhouse. The workshop was accomplished, driven by a pure creativity of patients. Hanwell Institute well equipped to address all sort of needs. The art room, huh? Okay. Alright, there's nothing here either.
Attention, Julia and all personnel. The high-risk patient has escaped again. He's very violent, more than usual. I believe he's rushing toward the 3rd floor. Proceed with extreme caution.
Ah, fuck. Wait, am I the high-risk patient? While desperately needed to stop the madman, somehow I wasn't able to move these benches on my own. Okay. Music wasn't going to calm him this time. Okay. What was I doing? Wouldn't try to break in. No prayer would help me escape from this madman outside. Okay. Oh. The fall of the Hanwell Institute. As if signaled by a hiding tension, an unprecedented incident encapsulated the Hanwell Mental Institute into chaos and confusion, and supervised patient mutilated herself in her most vicious way imaginable. The exact detail of the episode continued unclear to this day, but the remaining staff at the Hanwell spoke of the grotesque scene beyond the limits of human comprehension, which prompted something akin to rebellion within the caging walls of the hospital. The word spread fast, and the authorities, who had already set their sights on the establishment, were quick to act. Had it been an isolated affair, the conclusion to this chronicle might have been different. But the combination of the disenchanted employees, wild rumors, and the growing public scrutiny spelled doom for the Hanwell Mental Institute. In the heartbeat of the authorities, from inside the building with a warrant order, apparently having prepared in advance for just occasion. What follows next is a tale of mayhem. Documents were seized, staff members were taken into custody, and much of the facility equipment was shut down in the blink of an eye. Hanwell Mental Institute simply stopped functioning. The building was evacuated almost immediately, and all of its patients were redistributed across a number of smaller but more modern facilities. Of the executive staff, Dr. Anne Eisenberg turned out to be the most cooperative, speaking during the interviews about the oppressive nature of the working environment. Dr. Elias Hawthorne was found in the basement of the building, seemingly attempting to evade the authorities. This fact deeply damaged his legal case, as if followed by grave accusation against him for the staff that were further supported in the statement made by Dr. Eisenberg. Dr. Hawthorne sought refuge behind a team of lawyers and continues to be embroiled in the trial to this day. Dr. Walter Hanwell could not be found inside the building at the time of the raid. However, he willingly presented himself for questioning at the local police station some days after the grim streak of events. It transpired that Dr. Hanwell corroborated all of Dr. Eisenberg's claims, thus sealing the fate of his loyal right-hand man, parent, friend, Dr. Hawthorne. Those who interacted with the once world-famous surgeon during these climactic moments were perplexed by his negligent appearance. Though unlike that of the figure who once commanded so much authority and respect, no case could be built against Dr. Hanwell himself, who disappeared from public life shortly afterwards, never again working in the field of medicine. Recently, a few years after the interlude of depravity that became the downfall of Hanwell Mental Institute, the possibility of rehabilitation, the symbolic building has resurfaced. Once again, Dr. Miller, who was closely acquainted with his history, has expressed interest in healing the efforts to return the establishment glory days. Wow. So Hawthorne took all the blame. It seemed to be dead end. Hiding spot was an option. I thought running away by the corridor along Melbourne too far. I risk getting caught. What do I do? What? Did he come from here? What am I doing? I think I'm just going around in circles. Oh look, that door is open. Following the madness in the hospital, a patient hurts herself savagely. Following the troubling rumors of the patient being mistreated in an already alarming hospital condition, the overcrowded Hanwell Mental Institute, once a beacon of international respectability, has come to the worst episode yet. Readers are advised to proceed with caution as the following paragraph presents potentially disturbing descriptions. Disgruntled employees and concerned family members of the patient have been warning the media about the atmosphere of neglect and allegations of misconduct in the establishment. So the brutal incident that transpired yesterday evening should not come as a surprise. A pregnant patient with severe mental disorder descending into a manic state and perform a strangulation or abortion on herself. Nurses who witnessed the self-mutilation described the scene of savage bloodbath, also stating that the patient was alone in a locked room without access to foreign object. A nurse discovered a vile act thanks to a pool of blood spreading under her door. When pressed, she refused to reveal any further details about gory scene inside the room. It is clear that to this reporter that famed Hanwell Mental Institute is spiraling out of control. Authorities could seize control of the building immediately. I see. Oh, there we go. I had managed to block this door, but the madman could still leave the empty room using the other door. Oh, there we go. The crowd was now blocking the way to the other room. Alright, he can scream all he wants now. I think I'm safe. Where am I now? Okay. Okay. Okay, these names must be of developers or something like that. Okay. Wait, I think I have to go there. Okay, 4 a.m. The Without the madman chasing me, I readied myself to explore the rest of the topmost floor. The scent of rare insect, perhaps something all old and arcane, almost made me stop in my track. Every corner of the hidden room seemed to hide an ancient secret. What foreboding revelation awaited me inside? Okay. D. Venomous Mysterious. Okay. I nearly feel drunk at the prospect of harnessing all that power. We can't stop until his mystery have been fully unraveled. I'm ready to extinguish all my resources, sacrifice anything and anyone until our goals are met. This is greater than the mankind itself, even greater than me. This is the right symbol, I know it. The next step is to translate the logograms, which won't be an easy task considering the poor state of stones slabs, so many millenniums echoes of abandonment. But how? Finding the predates any record history of scientific research. There is no written account of servants anywhere else. I'm not even sure that the proper translation. We are completely on our own. It's imperative that we focus the task at hand and make no compromises if we were to succeed. We will be the first civilization and sane human beings to ever gaze into the innards of the mountain. If what I suspect is true, what awaits inside the gaunt that means to eliminate the enlightenment and the preeminence of actuality in our disposal? The servant is far from an accurate word, but there is no better way to describe them with the meager information we found. Contrary to other ancient tribes, the chief among them is so-called Da Lamar, who at least had a sense of purpose in keeping the vicious god at bay. The servant sought to commune with the entity. I wouldn't call this goal per se, but rather way to exist. The servant says as much as their primitive nature permitted the formidable but alluring power of the entity. To achieve the commune, these earliest beings would make use of psychoactive substances or their entheogens they referred to as ancient times, to reach the state of genestai, the true meaning of existence. Consider the implication of this fact. Sentient beings that existed long before any hint of a recorded history or even any form of religion had already embarked on the greatest guest of all ethos, a divine within, and it could be right here beneath us. Example of entheogens include I don't want to know what those words are. It seems, as far as I can summarize, that the servant requires some sort of mind shield to face the absurd presence of the entity. This collaborates my other finding, yet I can't synthesize the prehistoric entheogens exploited by the servants. We lack that information. However, if shielding your mind is the key, then perhaps the best word I found to describe the entity is palote. Granted that these slightly better term for it, but I'm unable to make sense of every glyph, and the servants, though so little of themselves in a close presence of the palote, that they fail to name their race in any way. The supreme surrender of will and the empote of self-hatred and shameful submission under the influence of the foreign power. Imagine for a moment the faiths reserved for a culture of the people that would surrender themselves to the behest of a pre-natural being whose concern far detached from our own. But luckily nothing of the sort ever happened. Whatever substance the primitive servant used didn't succeed in merging with this otherworldly visitor. The entire course of our history could have been so different had an inferior mind communed. So Palote still waits, forbidding us ever. Palote is wise, an entity enlightened far beyond our human condition, and also infinitely patient. He remains rooted within the bowels of the earth until the right vessel comes, and is willing to wait another insurmountable passage of the time until that happens. He finally breaks free to traverse the geometry of our world. Time has no meaning to him. Of course, the lower prehistoric species couldn't have tamed this limited, no, illimitable power. But I have other means. Who is in control? What's the key? We naively think that we are in command over life, but the fabric of modern society shapes our fate. By means of overwhelming information, our mind begins to malfunction, thus we surrender to the unbearable noise, sucking away our vitality. A dissonance perceived even on merged page of a newspaper. Pelote also makes use of the noise, but it's a different kind of disturbance. He delves deep into your mind, something that an interference, perhaps even a physical change, manifested when you face the horror. And yet, there's a distinct possibility that we can tame this power. A nascent theory provides hope. The configuration of our brain is still crude, much as I like to believe my genes are more suffocated than the brewer's servant. Not enough time has transpired to provide our brain cells the ability to grasp the essence of reality. We are still only able to process the 3 dimensions. However, Pelote operates in another geometry of existence. Its visual information is too much for our minds to absorb, yet only one way to commune with the entity is to endure his presence. It must be so old, impossible to comprehend with our early conception of life. Pelote must be originated from the time in which very first star formed. Perhaps he already existed before it all began. Ambrosia was right. The way to success resides in primordial arrangement. In fact, the distant influence of the celestial body may have an astounding implication during the encounter. This is too much to grasp even for the learned man like me. There is a favorable configuration and greater chance to prevail if their commune takes place in specific hour as we perceive time in our polyhedric coordinates. The first patron we were deemed to infallible for the limited sensibilities and monotheist religion. But our illiterate ancestor couldn't grasp how primal instinct of low-key species like serpents operated, seeing meaning in simple organism of their era. Arcanaes, coleopterygians, millipedes, grubs, and yet the shape of the suggested constellation don't directly correlate with the arthropods that inhabit our planet. They are grotesque creatures, otherwise of familiar outlines, as if some vital feature of their true physical form couldn't be conveyed on the flat surface of these slabs. Regrettable, we don't have enough time to construct a astrobal, so we'll operate with the spare details we have available. I'm in shock. The symbol itself acts like a piece of chart. When the position is correct, it provides zenith of equation, and it's inconceivable that the servant themselves figured this out. So the symbol must be a vestige of some elemental line we designed with a baffling purpose on our spectrally impaired capabilities can't hope to decipher. The only way to realize the encounter, this vermicial shape, we have seen it before. Okay, that was a read. That's the artifact. Okay. I wonder what bizarre thing had taken place inside the room. No, I wasn't mentally prepared to delve in a sinister tome. Looks like a dictionary, honestly. Okay. What a meaning all of these bones. Dirty sticky old newspaper. Bones were from animals. Yeah, I highly doubt that. Okay, I think that's all here. I wonder if this entity is directly picked up from Lovecraft horror, or it's entirely a new entity made up. Okay, books, esoteric topics, small statue shaped like a head. Oh yeah, symbol is on the ground. Drawing was almost exactly as Bernard. Had he been in this room, did they force him to draw the symbol? Alright, I think I'm still gonna find the greenhouse. That is my goal. Hold up. There's the greenhouse. There's no way I can move all this junk. Of course you can't. Alright, I think we are in the greenhouse. Alright, there we go. Oh no, rusted in place. God damn it, of course. Of course it wouldn't be that easy. Wooden planks, I don't know what to do with them. Lubricant. What? There was no oil left in the can. Look at that, I missed that. Alright, good. Some oil left. Alright, there we go. Alright, time to run. Alright, we are finally in the sewers. Alright. Oh, Lord. I grabbed the curious artifact. A sense of impending doom assaulted me. 5 a.m. I felt my nightmare's journey was nearing its conclusion. This weird key was bound to unlock the final answer. How the fuck do I unlock this though? Yep, as I thought, we are gonna break the barricade with the mine shaft. I mean the mine card. Okay. I think I have to go that way. Okay. Alright, there we go. Alright, the terminals have been unlocked. What the fuck? Lenny? Lenny, why are you naked, Lenny?
Lenny, what are you doing here?
The time has come.
But how?
Yeah, how are you in there?
This is the place where it all happened. And now you must proceed.
I understand. Where have you been all this time?
I've always been here. With you.
What are you saying? Lenny, please. You're my only friend.
No one here can have friends.
What? Lenny, don't make jokes like that. You're scaring me.
Why are you doing this?
Why am I? I need to understand. I want peace.
Then go. The answer lies at the end of this tunnel.
Lenny.
I must go now.
Why are you naked and why the hell were you inside the tunnel that was boarded up? Alias, I'm leaving behind this hasty note in event you can follow my step. The situation upstairs is untenable and may have reached a point of no return, with the revolting scene in the female wing. They couldn't handle it, Alias. Their minds are too feeble, but they served our purpose, and I have enough details on how to understand what lies inside that cave. This is a second intrusion of the authorities to the premise, and we won't get away with things so easily this time. My own actions have raised suspicion, putting me under the close scrutiny. There will be a thorough investigation. They will ask more questions. We can't afford to lose control over a discovery, never. This is the end of the institute, so I've made my decision. I'm going in. We have wasted too much valuable time assessing the risk, and when we both know that no civilized human being has ever attempted the risk, between the facing the authorities and concluding an encounter postponed by unfathomable eons, the outcome of which is unknown, I choose to feast my eyes on the enrapturing radiance of the Pahalote. Also, mind you that the guy disappeared, Hanwell I mean, and then he appeared before police after a few days. So either he went inside and whatever came outside might not have been him, or that he survived whatever was inside. It's over, we earned it, remember that. Should the worst case scenario present itself after this irrational adventure, I'll leave my last revelatory finding on this paper. The tumor, it is a mechanism, alias the tumor acts as a sort of fail-safe device. Palote, in its endless wisdom, honed through the vast passage of time that our pathetic minds couldn't grasp, understood the risk of taking control of an inferior organism. What lies beyond the cave is the vessel being threatened in some way. How can he know if the organism will survive? So entity only goes so far in the reconfiguration of the foreign tissue. He leaves only a part of himself as a test, or maybe some kind of probe which our biology develops as a tumor. This is abnormal growth that we observed in the patients. Ironically, it was him observing us this entire time, and that alias is our biggest mistake. Yes, the patient relayed the critical visual information to us, but the entity sensed the threat. We may be among the elite of our peers, but in the presence of Palote, we are ignorant and stupid creatures. I still have to decrypt the significance of the vision, but I believe that they represent beacons. This is our part I couldn't properly translate. They are somehow part of the failsafe system. What do I know is that he wants to leave patiently, waiting until an abomination but strong soul faces him and successfully withstands his powerful gates. Whoever chosen will not only participate in the cosmic symbiosis of our earthly religions could only dream of, but gain a epochal power transcending our human condition. I should be able to tolerate his side if my suspicions are correct. Alias, do not even in our wildest theory could have prepared us for him. I may not be in control of myself after I enter the chamber. Take all the necessary precautions to ensure that our discovery remains safe. No one can proceed beyond this point but me. Oh well, too bad. The vessel is back, baby. I am the vessel. I am the vessel, baby. Well, there's no point of return, I guess. Wow, it's moving. It's actually moving. So wait, the chamber was down below the earth. Were they digging downwards? What the hell? Wait, the group E dig this much? That's a lot of digging. Alright, let's go. That didn't deserve my attention. What? Okay. Okay. I guess that's what it. Is that a giant fungus? Wow, that's a fetus. What happened? Where am I? Wait, I've been living here? Julia?
Did you find what you were looking for?
Oh god, what is she doing? What? What the fuck? Wow, the ending. Whew, the ending. That was an ending. Oh. Well, everyone, this has been Asylum, Hanwell Mental Institute. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all in the next game. Bye-bye. I hope you all enjoyed.